Hey, how's it going, everyone? I got a question from Impossible84 asking, how did you do at the trials? Can you make a video going over each event and how you performed? Before I get started, can you please do me a big favor and like and subscribe below? Thank you. Now, first event, the 100-meter dash. Going into this event, I thought I was gonna PR. I mean, the view of the straightaway was like the coolest view ever. Perfect conditions, and I felt fast. Well, the result said something else. I ran a 11.18, which is 0.11 off my PR, and I don't know what happened, but it is what it is. And when I finished, I wasn't too upset. I wasn't happy. I was just neutral. I knew this is a decathlon. I'm not gonna get upset because I did poorly in one event. I got 9 others to make it up. If anything, it makes you go harder because you know I gotta make this up. So I finished, and I was in the meet. There's a lot of nerves going into the 100, and then once you're done, it's kind of released, and you can kind of just like be in a relaxed state for each event. So going on to the long jump, we had like 50 minutes to warm up, which was a very long time. And I tried to time it out as best as I could. First jump was like 7.0 something. And I was like, all right, that's a good first one. So the second one started to clap, and it was 7:32. And I thought it was like a really bad jump. So I was actually excited because that's my second farthest jump ever in 24 feet again, which is very good for me. My last outdoor nationals, I jumped like 22.1. So that's a huge leap. That was actually a goal of mine going into this year. Is I got to get better at the long jump. And my high jump is pretty good, so you think that would translate to the long jump. And all I got to say is the next couple of years, my long jump is definitely going to match my high jump. So then the third jump, you're not supposed to do this, but I had my headphones. Before the last jump, I just put my head down, sweatshirt over, and just blast some music because I was getting hyped. Because I really thought I was going to jump 24 mid, 25 feet if I executed. Because the 7:32 jump, 24 feet, was a really poor jump, in my opinion. It didn't even feel like that. Start the clap again, and I didn't execute. Instead of attacking the board, I kind of backed off, and it was another 7-meter low. So a little disappointing, but and I'm behind in 100 and long jump from my PR meet when I broke 8K for the first time. So, I'm not gonna get down. I still got 8 more events to make it up. So it's like whatever. In the shot put, I was concerned about this event the entire 3 weeks leading up to it, because I went to this track meet, American Track League, to hurdle, but they put me in the shot put too. And on my second throw, I don't know what I did to my finger. I haven't got it checked out, but it snapped back so far, and basically I couldn't flick the shot put. Like even now, a month and a half later, I can't even bend it back. It's like stuck, and it's very painful. So in warm-ups, I was powering 12 meters, the worst throwing I've ever done, because I was too timid to flick it because it hurt so bad. I taped it up, still in a lot of pain. Anyway, I get to my first throw. I just gotta get points, so chuck it. It's like 13:30. I'm like, damn. I've been throwing 14 mid all year in practice. in practice, and I'm at the trials throwing 13 meters. The thing is, I don't really get nervous, so I believe in my abilities that I will clutch it up. So second throw, put a little more juice on it. I think it's farther, but it's still like 1350. And I'm like, all right, you got one more. You got nothing to lose. Just like actually try to flick it this time. Like if you break your finger, like again, like who cares? Just flick it. So get around the circle, hit it really hard. It just flies out. And 1429, I mean, going into that meet, I didn't know what I was gonna throw. So I'm pretty happy with that. But I mean, I've thrown that every single time in practice or further. With that heavier shot, like slightly heavier. So, I mean, it's all about God's timing. Like next year, when I throw 15 mid or 16 meters, I'm gonna laugh at that. Like, I'm not really worried about it. I just had to get a certain mark in to continue path to AK plus. So not throwing 1350 really helped me. Go to the high jump. This was probably the funnest event of the weekend. Every single decathlete on my side was killing it. Like first attempts, we were just rolling. Like you were up, and then like 2 minutes later you're up again at the next height. It was just rolling, it was smooth, and that's how I like to jump, because most meets, I'm like the last one coming in, and you warm up, you have to stop for like an hour, and then you come back in. And that's not ideal for high jumping. But this time, it was like you warm up, and you're already in the cycle, you're already jumping. And I basically got first attempts all the way up to 208, missed 208, which is like 6'9.5", I think. And then got on my second attempt. And thank God for Kyle and Zach for staying in. I'm pretty sure they almost got out at 202, and I was like, please don't get out. Like I did not want them to get out, because it's so, I guess it's selfish, but like you jump higher when people jump high next to you. So 6'11", Zach and Kyle clear 6'11", and you know, it's my last attempt, and I'm like, yo, you can remember this moment for the rest of your life if you execute it. Like, just do it. Start the clap. It's like the stands, everyone's into it. Such a hype moment. And then literally once I took off, like the projection, I knew right away I cleared this bar. Like I just knew. And I cleared it, super hyped, and what an amazing feeling that was. Now, that's my PR. So to go to 214, yes, I want to clear it, but I've also been dealing with like severe patella tendonitis, meaning like I was concerned going into that day, can I high jump? I didn't high jump for over a month, no high jump work going into that meet. So, and that was because of my patella. Like even in warm-ups, I was like, I missed every bar because I was afraid to take off my knee. But when it comes down to it, you just gotta push through it, and that's what I did. So then when I was done, we had the sickest like cool down area. Everyone had their own mats in that green room that you guys all see on Instagram and YouTube. And we chilled there for like an hour, warmed up, then went outside for the 400. And basically my race plan was to not get out too fast in the 200, because last time I got out in like 22 high and I absolutely died the last 50 meters. And I ran a slow time, like 50.7. So this time I stayed very loose and relaxed on the first 200. Also, the 400 times at USA's weren't, even in the open, weren't like, no, not a lot of people PB because the wind on the back stretch was insane. Like, it really put a damper on everyone's time because of the backstretch wind. Super strong. And that's all right though. It's like, it's just weather. Like, you can't do anything about it. So I don't know what I got on my 2, but I felt way better the second 200. And I closed pretty hard and ran 50.54. And afterwards I felt like, oh, that was like really easy. Probably could have went harder, but I didn't want to die out, so I was very conservative in how I distributed the energy throughout the race. And so that's day 1. All right, on to day 2. I'll talk about this way quicker. Also, day 1 was a day 1 PR by like 9 points. So I did worse on the 100 and long jump. And then instead of getting down on myself and be like, oh, I suck, I was like, no, you got to make it up in the next 3. Well, that's 3 season best, back to back to back, to be up by 9 points. I put myself in a great position for day 2. So a lot of the decathlon is mentality, like resilience, getting over the event, and attacking the next one full force. So day 2, get to the hurdles. In my mind, I'm like, yo, I'm breaking 14. Like, this is the opportunity to break 14. And like, the key was to not float the first hurdle, just run through it. Because I get too tight to the first hurdle. I do 8 steps, but I have to like chop going into it because, or I destroy it. I'll get too close to the hurdle. And when you get too close, instead of going through, you go up more. And unfortunately, the first hurdle, I floated way too long. So that was disappointing, but the rest of the race was pretty good. I liked the rest of the race. I ran it smooth and hard, finished strong. 14.08, which is win legal PR. Even though I wanted to break 14, I wasn't too mad about it. Better than the last decathlon by 0.01, so I'm still ahead. Going to Discus, they give us like another 50 minutes to warm up. I'm the first one there just like warming up because when there's 18 people, it takes a long time for your turn. So I like to like front load the warm-ups and then chill before the comp. And first throw, 42.89. I'm like, that's a good first throw because I didn't even whip it that hard. I'm like, I could just go after the second and third, like, and get a huge PR. Unfortunately, I did not execute. And that was very disappointing to not throw better on my second or third throw. That one hurt a lot because you had the chance to do it and you didn't get it done. But that's just fuel for next year. Onto the pole vault. Get the pole vault. We have a nice tailwind. Warm-up's looking okay. Then in the middle of the pole vault, I'm like, holy shit, I left my Javelin spikes in the hotel. Like, if I don't have this, I can't throw jab with spikes on, which is like a huge loss. Like, I don't know how else you would throw jab. So I had to like get my hotel key, run over to the stands, give it to my friend. Then they had to go to the hotel, bring it back. And I got and that happened in warm-up. So I'm like frazzled. I'm like, oh shit. Get the spikes like right before we're about to jump. And then I'm up. And first clearance 415, got over it. Got over 425, 435, 445, 455. Then actually one of the attempts at 435, there was a plug in the box. And I went to plan, I see a plug. I'm like, what the? And I completely fell out of the jump. They gave me an extra jump, luckily. But it was just funny, a funny moment. And 465 comes up. Would have really helped me if I got the bar. Didn't get it. Definitely another upset. So like, you know, I'm shooting for 8,100 minimum from where I'm at, and that just made it a lot harder to do so. Get to the Javelin, first throw like 51, I'm like shit. Second throw better, 54, and I'm like, I need more, like that's not enough. Last throw, start to clap, hit it. It didn't even feel like I threw it far at all, but it was like 58.5, which is a PR, but it didn't feel like it. I thought I could have put more juice into it. So I'll take it. I mean, 58.5 is not bad for me, it's a PR. Definitely wanted the 60 meters next year. Now it's the 1500. Basically know my place, where I'm at. So it would be very hard to jump up a place. Anyway, that 1500 was one of the most painful 1500s. I don't know why. Tried to psych myself up, I couldn't do it. Even standing there on the starting line, looking at the view of the fans and everything, the excitement, I couldn't feel it. I felt dull. My body, mind. Sometimes it's just like that for the 1500. Don't know why. But I ran tough, 436, and finished 3 points away from a PR. No, 5 points. I don't know. It's negligible. It's basically the same score. No, 2 points away from my PR. And so it's like a centimeter in long jump, or 0.101 in the 100. And then I lost a solo by 1 point, which sucked. And I got 9th because of it. So, you know, I tried to just enjoy the moment because, you know, it was a very cool moment being with the guys and just looking at the crowd. Such a nice setting. We did a victory lap and watched the 100-meter final from right behind the blocks, which was sick. And yeah, I just tried to soak it in, but that 1 point definitely made me salty. But that's fuel for next year. Always will be on my mind, 1 point, which will make me go harder, prepare better. It's just fuel. It's motivation. So everything happens for you, and I'm gonna use that as fuel. And shout out to Simmons though. He's the best. And then you know, I was like, damn, the season's over. I haven't ended in June in a long time, so I was just like, that year went by so quick, and I'm just ready to recover, rest, and get ready for the next training cycle in September and do it all over again. I learned so much this year, and it's such a great foundation for a blow-up year. I just gotta stay healthy. I've been battling Achilles tendonitis since like December. From February to April, I couldn't upright sprint. That's really why my 100 and 400 were so slow, because I couldn't sprint for like 2 months at a critical time. So yeah, it was a really good meet. And if you never compete at Hayward, you have to find a way to compete there. So that's all I got for you guys today. If you have any other questions, let me know. And that was my Olympic trials experience.